But I left my house at 9:30.
Alright, y'all, we're about to start shortly. So get up home your mat. Let me let me in.
I mean, I can't say I've never done that before.
I guess I'm just.
And don't forget that it's in the Facebook group too, so if you ever get kicked out when we're in the middle class, we don't have
My
My
relatives always have been like his day. Like that's my grandpa. Like when he's like, he's gonna do something, like he's gonna do it. And it's like, you want to be there, like right when it starts, and like that's just like a genetic thing.
I strive to be that way, but I'm just not.
Do you want this one or this one?
The other ones can just.
Get in where they
Yeah, exactly. That's what I always say. Jump, get in where you fit in when you're running late. You know. Okay. And so you've been to one of my classes before, right? Did you come with you came with Maxine? Okay. I didn't know if you came with I don't know, Laureen or Maxine. So if you've done floor or swing, okay.
Girl, I was
So sore.
yeah.
Were you guys sore?
I lost 40 pounds since then. But I couldn't even get on swing.
Yeah.
I remember you're like pushing my butt
Yeah. And the cool thing about yoga is like that stuff comes off quick, but you also don't realize how many muscles that you don't know that you are not using.
Drexel.
Yeah.
With you, I was like, well, my legs hurt, my sides hurt.
Dusty he's done sling, and he's like, I didn't think I was that sore, and then he's like, I had to throw my leg over and like roll to get up. He's like, my core is so sore. Hi, sweetheart. Just get in where you fit in. Oh, good morning, good morning. Well, you can use either one of these.
I thought she was gonna block you, but no.
And then, let's see, we got Shay and Jordan is supposed to be, we can throw one more out. I think time anymore, because everybody's so,
Yes.
nobody is like on a schedule anymore. Everybody's like used to being at home. It's like time is just a suggestion anymore. It's just a suggestion, you know, that we come at that time. But
if you're Donald Davidson's
Hey, I try my hardest to be on time. It's not that I think my time's hard.
Right, yeah.
all right.
It's in my genetics.
I'm sure.
Hold on.
Sure. Like yoga.
Yeah, real quick, if you guys just want to say your name real quick, and then just like, I know that's so awkward, and it automatically puts our body into that fight or flight, and so that's one thing that we're going to address through this whole 40-day challenge is like how to not like overwhelm yourself when stuff like that happens. So it's like when we get put on the spot, I mean, I'm sure probably a couple of y'all just had like a really quick like, no, I'm just going to say my name, you know, and we're just like, what? You know? So, Ashley, we'll start with you.
Ashley.
What's your name?
I'm sure.
Dawn.
I'm Sonia.
Brandy.
Amanda.
Shay.
The crazy young lady.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
you.
you.
No, and you can just move it over. I just didn't know if you had your own map. I forgot that you're all special, yes, and you love the extra padding. Oh.
Is there an extra mat? I might.
There is. Bathrooms?
Extra padding.
Oh, extra mat.
You can have that one if you need it.
Oh, no,
No, yours is the ticket.
I know I bring my new one because I know I got really sweaty hair.
There's another one right there.
Thank you.
Oh. See, you're smart. Oh, you got one or
Yeah.
here? Here you go, baby. Okay, and so we always start each class with a breath of fire. Oh, Nick. Yeah. Take a deep on me. So we always start each class with a breath of fire. It's an upregulating breath, and it turns on your nervous system and gets your body ready for practice. It also helps clear out your nasal passages because we're breathing in and out through our nose, trying to keep our mouth closed the whole time. So trying to control the breath, pranayama, so breath extension. So it's coming from our bandha lock, so our lower Uddiyana bandha, which is between your belly button and your yaw. No. And so we're just kind of activating those muscles and pressing the air out from our abdomen, and then the inhalation comes automatic. And so we're pressing out through our nose, and the inhalation comes automatic. And so it's like, but I'll show you with my mouth open just for a sec so you get the understanding, because a lot of people, I've looked up and they're like, they just keep pressing the air out, and they're like turning purple over there. I'm like, what are you doing? And so usually I have my eyes closed, so I'm like, I don't even know. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like, so it's just sharp exhalations through the nose, and then the inhalation comes automatic. And so it's, and then, you know, our body just that innate thing. So this initiates the innate immune response as well. So not only revs us up, so it brings you up if you're down, it brings you down if you're too far up, so it just kind of balances you out. But it's also a good breathing technique to use anytime you're going to go into public. What did you say the other day, Ashley? Well, I hate when I go into public and there's public. So, but trying to, you can do that breath like right before you're going to get on an airplane, stuff like that, and that initiates the innate immune response as well. So breath is so important, and I know you guys are going to talk about it all the time, and I cannot stress it enough. We've actually done classes where all we do is sit on our mat and breathe, and they're like drenched in sweat, and they're like, how is this possible? It's like, yeah. Anyway, so we'll do it with our eyes closed, and so what I'll have you guys do is inhale. So we'll inhale, big belly breath, your ribs should move, your back, and then you'll exhale all your air out. And so if you ever had your hands on your ribs when you inhale, and see how my hands kind of moved out to the side, so inhale, and then exhale. You should feel your hands kind of hollowing out, and then we'll inhale, and then I'll have you guys exhale, exhale, exhale. And so it's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, 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 and then inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. We'll do 3 rounds of 20 like that. So with your eyes closed, starting to stack your vertebrae, and then inhale, big belly breath, and then exhale all your air out. And then inhale deeply, and exhale, 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 exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale, 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 exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale, 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 exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, and exhale. Take your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your belly. And just take a second to just leave the outside outside. And just notice yourself on your mat. Notice where your sits bones are kind of touching your mat. Notice if it's kind of hurting your ankles. Let's just bring some presence and some awareness into our body. Starting to lengthen out your inhales and exhales. And starting to imagine your breath coming out through the center of your heart, through your chest. Picturing your breath coming out through the center of your heart. And I want you to imagine like your best day ever. Like if money was no object, you could do anything you want, what would you be doing? Who would you be with? What would you be wearing? Where are you? What are the smells? If you're in the sand, start feeling the sand between your toes. If you're eating your favorite food, start to think about that food. Or maybe you're making your favorite margarita, and you reach down and you cut that lemon open, and you kind of squeeze it a little bit, see all those juices come out of it, and you take that lemon and stick it right on your tongue. Woo! And just take some time to be grateful for the things that you don't have. Just as grateful as you are as the things you have. And then take one more deep inhale and exhale. And then open up your eyes and come to your downward facing dog. And so just kind of find your down dog, just kind of moving around a little bit. Might be a little stiff and sore. Just try to correct it, just kind of notice it. And then try to find stillness, but try to find stillness in a way where you can kind of stack, so you're not just in so much drama in this pose. We kind of add drama to a lot of things that we don't need to add drama to. And so taking a deep inhale through your nose, open up your mouth inside out. Inhale deeply through the nose. Open up your mouth inside out. Just try to keep that same breath through practice. Try to double the length of the exhalations to your inhalations. And then slowly step to the top of your mat and grab opposite elbows. Take a deep bend in your knees here and just kind of forward fold. Just kind of waking up the body just a little bit. Kind of maybe turning your head yes and no. Just kind of finding some extra space there. Maybe you straighten one leg and bend the knee on the other. Just kind of alternate your legs. Just kind of noticing what your body might need this morning. And then inhale, rise all the way up, palms pressed together. Just reach and then kind of pull your shoulder blades down and back. Engage your core. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale to your flat back, and then step back to your plank position. So try to get everything stacked here. I know our planks are no fun. We always put so much drama in our planks. Try to pull your shoulders down and back so you're not just like, in your neck. And then see your elbows, turn them forward a little bit. So try to get them to go forward. And then you can just barely bend your elbows back, or you can lower halfway down. And then coming all the way up into your upward facing dog. On the tops of your feet, try to get your legs up off the mat. And then tuck your toes, exhale, downward facing dog. Take your heels together, bend your knees out wide, look between your hands, step and jump. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms pressed together. And then as you exhale, just take a little bit of a back bend here. Just taking your gaze up towards the ceiling. And then deep inhale. Exhale, go back just a little further. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. And then exhale, step back to your half push-up or even less. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your heels together, bend your knees out wide, step or jump. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms pressed together. And then as you exhale, trying to keep your arms next to your ears as much as you can. Start reaching over to the corner of the room to the right. And try to keep pulling back that right shoulder blade, pulling back that left shoulder blade. Just really getting into our posture this morning. Noticing if it's hard to breathe in this. Inhale back to center. Exhale, reaching over to the left. Again, kind of pull back on that right shoulder. Breathe, I know. You wouldn't think something that little would be so hard. Inhale back to center, but it really, really is. Hands to prayer center. Just take a second to kind of imagine your feet as roots. And you're trying to root yourself into the ground, become solid, become connected. Just a little bit of love before I hurt you. Bend your knees deeply, touch the floor, and reach up and sit back into your chair. So see if you can see your toes and just kind of sink back a little farther. Maybe you can take your gaze up towards your fingertips, sinking a little lower. Give yourself a little tuck in the back so we're not dumping into our low back, taking more into the quads. I know you guys love this. I know you love it. Can you learn to love me? Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, step back to your half push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. So start to learn how to kind of constrict your throat a little bit. So you kind of get that Ujjayi breath, the ocean breath, Darth Vader. So that's why it sounds like everyone's snoring in a yoga class, right? Because we're trying to make our breath audible so our brain has something else to focus on other than the struggle of yoga. Because if yoga was easy, everyone would do it, right? So take your left foot and just kind of angle it at a 45. So your toes are angling out, and then right leg comes up. And use that stance in your left foot to try to press your right foot in between your hands. And then coming up to your warrior one. So a lot of times our warrior ones look like they're kind of opening up into a warrior two. So really take the time to press that hip back, trying to bring both hips forward, hands up over your head, palms together because it's harder. If we already start hard, then the other stuff just starts becoming easy, right? No. So keep pressing into that back heel in the back on your left, and then twist forward a little bit more, and then inhale, exhale, twist to the right. Woo! Love y'all, mean it. Breathe. Inhale back to center. Hands behind your back. Interlace your hands behind you. Humble warrior. So try to keep your hips and everything forward. You're just taking your head and everything forward, so you're still keeping that warrior one footing, keeping the hips forward, and then coming back up, warrior one, and then open up, warrior two. So trying to match the back of your heels together, and then challenge yourself a little bit. Really turn those toes out, trying to take your knee out further, and then gaze over your right fingertips. And then inhale, reach forward, exhale, reverse your warrior, keeping that bend in the front knee. Just trying to get a nice stretch all on that right side. Straightening out the front leg, and then hinging forward, and then take your hand either to your shin or the floor, just wherever you're comfortable, and then get the feeling that you're being lifted up, taking your gaze up towards your left fingertips, pulling your hips forward like you're trying to fit between a plane of glass. And then if you want to challenge yourself this morning, maybe you take your bottom hand and reach it forward, right? Woo! And then coming back to your warrior two. Love y'all. Elbow comes on the inside of your knee, pressing your knee away. Arm reaches up and over, twist. Palms are going to be facing down. So it's like a ramp all the way from your heel, all the way forward. And then coming back up to your warrior two. Yeah, that one is a lot harder than it looks too. Circling your hands all the way down to your half push up with one exhalation all the way down. Inhale, upward facing. That coffee's kicking in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Woo! You never thought down dog would be like so relaxing, right? At the beginning, it's so horrible. And then it's like when we start going, it's like, oh, can we just get to that? It's amazing what we can adapt to really quick. That's the amazing thing about the human body. So taking your right foot at a 45, left leg comes up. And then stepping your left foot between your hands, coming up warrior two. And so really trying to pull that pelvis forward as much as you can as well, pushing that hip back.
You said warrior two, you meant warrior
I mean, well, yeah, warrior one, sorry. Woo! Maybe it hasn't kicked in enough. Palms together because it's harder, obviously. And just sink a little bit lower, and then turn to your left. Ooh, such a small, hard movement. And then coming back to center, interlace your hands behind you, humble warrior. Where's my snoring? Am I boring y'all? No, I'm kidding. Back up to warrior one. And then open up to your warrior two. Matching up your ankles, turning those toes out just a little bit, gaze over your left fingertips. And then reach forward, reversing your warrior, keeping the bend in the front knee. And then straighten out your front leg. And then hinging forward, you could slip. Taking your gaze up towards your right fingertips. So again, just kind of get that feeling that you're being lifted, your front leg is pretty straight. And then coming back to your warrior two, elbow comes on the inside of your knees, pressing your knee away, arm reaches up and over, twist, palms facing down. And then coming back up to your warrior two, circling your hands all the way down, one exhalation, all the way down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ha! So just take a few breaths here. Anytime you need to take a child's pose, take it, but return back as quickly as possible. We don't ever want you to give up on you. We're here for change. And then just real quick, if y'all need to, I put a towel, go ahead and sink your butt back to your child's pose and just kind of towel off if you need to. It's pretty warm here this morning, I know, just breathe. Maybe you just love on your towel, sitting on your mat, and you're just like, you got this, woo! Just trying to catch that breath again, because when we're trying to control the breath, we don't realize how hard it can be. It's one of the hardest things to do in yoga is control the breathing. And then go ahead and tuck your toes, coming back to your downward facing dog. Can't have too much, you know. Take your heels together, bend your knees out wide, step and jump. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees deeply, touch the floor, reach up, because we love it. And again, give yourself that micro tuck in the back. Hands to first center. Left elbow on the outside of your right knee and twist. So we're trying to get our butt below our heart. We're trying to twist our hips to the left as we twist and press to the right. Gaze over your right shoulder. And then with slow and control, try to step that left foot back behind you in a warrior one foot, pressing back into the heel. And give yourself a little bit more twist, kind of assisting our organs. And then stepping back up to your chair, because we love it. We're like, yes, please, let me get through this class. Take your right hand on the outside of your left knee and twist. Taking your gaze over your left shoulder. And then just getting a good balance. Gauge your core. Step your right foot back behind you. Trying to press back in that right heel. We don't realize like the ankle mobility that we can lose. And then coming back to your chair one more time. Lord, please help me get through her class. Exhale forward. Woo! Turn your head yes to no. And then inhale, rise all the way, palms pressed together. And then as you exhale, so engage your core, and we're rooting our feet down into the ground. Engage your quads, pull everything in, and then take your right hand up. Your right hand up. Your right knee up. We're trying to press, so it's almost like we're trying to press our foot through the floor. And then just find one point that you can look at. So a lot of times I'll try to look at either the floor or kind of something below, like, and that's like your gazing point. Taking your knee out to the side, and then very slowly taking your gaze over your left shoulder. Yes, now Kirsty, and so anytime we do that, it just seems we start losing our balance. And then inhale back to center. We don't realize how much balance we lose. Taking your left hand on the outside of your right knee and twist. like me right here. At least at the door and have my back. Yeah. Thank you, door.
Of course.
Got the cheater over here.
We didn't say it.
Your right fingertip. Woo! And then pounding back to center, hands up over your head. And then straighten out your leg, pressing into your heels and hold for 3. This is Dawn's favorite pose. 2. And lift the leg. And 1. That's why you're on the chest. No, yeah. And then again, so kind of rooting down. Taking your time to solid come up. Apparently I don't have that today. And then taking your knee out to the side, slowly taking your gaze over your right shoulder. And so you're kind of pressing that knee out and taking your gaze over your right shoulder. And just remember, your body's in a different place every day, so leg back to the front. And so don't judge yourself or be mad at yourself ever if you like can't stand. Sometimes I can't stand on 2 feet. And then sometimes I can balance on my head. So take your gaze over your left hand. Woo, just really testing our balance today. And then back to center. Woo! I'm like, I might need this, guys. Where'd they go?
Swing it on it.
Right? And then straighten out your leg and hold for 3. Lift higher, 2. And 1. Hey, whatever you gotta do, right?
I don't know why, but
Yeah.
Harder on the leg I broke.
So we always find that we have like one side that's harder than the other or anything like that. Once you start getting balanced, it gets a little bit less, but yeah, there's always one side. And so taking your foot on the inside of your thigh into your heel. So it doesn't matter where it is, it's more about the balance. So just wherever you can get it, and you want to kind of press. So we're really still kind of pressing. Y'all can like help each other out. Whoa! Woo! And then just kind of try to pull those hips forward. And then hands to first center. Interlace your hands in front of you, taking your hands up. And then very slowly taking your gaze up towards the ceiling. And then just try to back bend until you fall out. So your body will catch you. Make sure there's not a bowl behind you.
I thought that was the end.
Guys are like, yes, class is over. There you go, girl. And then so switching sides, same thing. So just kind of pulling those hips forward. Notice if your hips are kind of cattywampus, try to get those straight. And then hands to first center. And then interlace your hands in front of you, and then slowly take your gaze with your hands. Woo! And then try to grow your tree. Now close your eyes. Oh my gosh, this is the longest I've ever stayed up. Grab towel. My goodness. I'm like, woo, check it out. Very, very cool. Okay, so take a big step to your right. Both feet are facing straight forward. So don't have them pigeon-toed or sticking out, just kind of straight forward. Might have to stagger some butts, you know. There are worse things. So inhale, look up. And then as you exhale, just hinging at the hips and just leaning forward. Just kind of leaning your body into the front ball mounds of your feet. And just letting the whole top half of your body just be super, super relaxed. Again, just kind of manipulating our nervous system, getting it to understand that we're okay even though we're freaking it out right now. Our body's like, I don't feel okay. And then slowly interlace your hands behind you, keeping your palms together, and then just allow your hands to come up and over and just drape down towards the mat as well. We'll try to get them anywhere. So this is our yin and yang energy, so our legs are working, our top half is just completely relaxed. If your head is touching the mat, you need to shorten your legs. And then slowly release your body, taking your hands down to the mat. And then you'll just try to kind of work your body through your legs, just kind of leaning a little bit more forward. And then eventually you'll be able to walk your hands all the way back and sit on the back of your arms. And then just lift your legs up. You know, ready? Come on, let's go. And then slowly just heel toe your feet into a yogi squat.
If I use steak dinner today, I can do that.
Oh, really? Well, that is today. No, I'm kidding.
No, not me. I'm in here.
No, I know.
I'm doing that.
That will be today. No. And so just kind of pressing those knees out. Try to let go as much as you can. I know like the squats are like the first thing to go a lot of times. So taking that right hand in front of your shin and then twist. Taking your gaze up towards your left fingertips and try not to let that knee pop in. Try to keep pulling it out and then just try to let go in your low back. So try not to clench. We always are like, ah, I got it. And so release. So it's not about how much we get to it, but it's more about letting go when we get there and finding the goodies in the twist. And so switching hands and then taking your gaze up towards your right fingertips. And then back to center. And then taking your hands right in front of you and just kind of gripping your mat. And then you're gonna come up onto your tiptoes. And remember how we were bending our elbows back. So turn your elbow eyeballs, I call these your elbow eyeballs. Turn them forward because our elbows are gonna bend backwards and make a little bit of a shelf. Oh. Y'all right?
No, yeah, I'm fine.
And then you're gonna slowly take your butt up in the air with you. And now we're making little shelves on the back of our arm. And then just kind of leaning our body a little bit more forward. Maybe that'll lift one of our feet up. Maybe we can just sit here and play with this. Maybe we can lift both up. But we always want to keep trying. It's better to try and fail than fail to try. And we never know how awesome that we actually are until we are challenged, right? Most of us don't shine our colors until the rug gets pulled out from underneath us. Let's not wait for that time. That time is now. Woo! Jim, you're not trying to go into a handstand. Good job. And then just exhale forward, fold, good, high. And so coming back up into that stance that we were at a minute ago. Now take your toes now where they're out to the corner. And then just kind of take your hands in like your knees. Like on top of your knees, and kind of get where you can kind of press them out. And you can almost kind of like just sit on them. You know what I mean? You can just kind of feel yourself sitting on. And then twist, taking your right shoulder in, and then taking your gaze over your left shoulder blade and breathe. Kind of pushing those knees out. And then switching sides, taking your left shoulder in and twist, taking your gaze over your right shoulder. This should feel good. Little difficult, but it should feel real nice. And then one more time, give me one more twist. And twist. And And then slowly straighten out your legs again. Walk your hands forward, 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 and then just like try to imagine your body kind of leaning back. So it's almost like a wide leg down dog. Just take the time to breathe. Take the time to let your nervous system know that you're okay. Slowly release. Go ahead and lower your butt down to the mat. Shallow. And then go ahead and come to your plank position. So this is like the best pose in the world, y'all.
Plank.
Yes, this needs to be your favorite. So like we look at all of our things that we don't like wrong. We need to be like, this is my favorite thing ever. Like when we're nervous about something, we need to be like, I'm so excited. Like we need to change the way we think. We're like, oh my God, you guys say it with me. I love plank.
I love plank.
Plank is my favorite. This is badass. Right now I'm having a great time. Y'all are like, yeah, I wouldn't take it that far. And then very, very slowly, very, 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 very slowly, very, very slowly, lowering all the way down. No. So take your arms out to a T. So just, yeah, might have to stagger each other. Oh, y'all look so cute. And then just right leg is gonna come up and over. You might be able to touch the ground behind you, you might not. But just try to keep those arms straight and allowing your breath to kind of let go in the low back.
These are actually my favorite.
Oh, I know, I love these. They feel so good.
Yes.
Oh, my glubby glub glub. They are so good for you too. It helps stretch out a lot of the muscles that get super tight during sitting, and then switching sides, taking your left leg up and over. Again, just kind of noticing where your body's kind of clenching on and trying to breathe in and out through the nose. And then coming back, so reaching forward. So right hand is gonna go up and left leg is gonna go up. And just keep your gaze towards your mat and inhale. Exhale, lift higher. And inhale. Exhale, lift higher. And then switch sides. Keeping your gaze down because we're not trying to crank on our neck either. We want to keep the flow of oxygen, whatever breath coming out through our mouth, nose. So left hand comes up, right leg comes up. Inhale. Exhale, lift higher. And then inhale. Exhale, lift higher. And then slowly release. And reach back behind you and see if you can just act like you're trying to touch your pinkies. And so we're just trying to squeeze the pinkies. Maybe I can reach over and grab somebody's. No, I'm kidding.
I can hold your hand.
And then toes together. Inhale, and then exhale, lift. And just breathe. Inhale. Exhale, lift. And then slowly release. Woo! Just take your legs and kind of windshield wiper them side to side. Cleaning out all that dirty junk back there. Like the way you do that right there.
Yes.
And then slowly reach back and grab your ankles. My favorite thing to tell men to do. No.
Right?
And then,
slippery.
yeah, I know, yeah. Easier said than done.
One at a
And so,
time.
yeah, even if you can't reach them or if you're too slippery, you can just try to lift them. And just same thing, like try to squeeze the pinkies together. But if you can grab them, you want to act like you're stamping your feet on the ceiling and then lift. So it's like we're kicking away, trying to lift our chest up. And so inhale. Exhale, lift. And then slowly release. Good job. And take those arms back out wide. And then slowly use your left hand to kind of assist you. And then you're going to take that leg up. Maybe one leg will go up. And you just kind of breathe, leaving that arm open. So this arm is here. And then I'm slowly starting to work that leg up and around. And then maybe as you breathe, you'll be able to take the other one. Just really trying to get a good twist, trying to open up in our chest, our low back. Just kind of play around with it, and the more you breathe, the more you'll be able to let your low back go. Finding some space in our body, some room for healing, some room for self-love, and switching sides. So now just use your right hand as a little bit of a helper, and then slowly try to keep that arm out to a T if you can, so it's coming directly out of your arm sockets. And then just slowly come over again, just kind of breathing where you notice it's tight. Notice where you're clenching. And then slowly coming back up and around. Take your hands down, kind of like elbows down by the side, hands right in front of your face, toes together, and just kind of press up for a second. And notice if you feel a little kind of twinge in your low back, or if this feels okay for you. Take a deep breath. Exhale, lower down. Slowly walk your hands back just a little bit further, but keep your elbows tucked in. And then inhale, lift. And exhale as you lift, sorry. And then slowly down, lower down just a little bit more, taking it down just a little bit further. And then press up and lift. Trying to keep those elbows tucked in and bent. And breathe. And then lower down and slowly tuck back to taking your your forehead onto your knees. And then reaching back and grabbing the back of your heels. Yeah. My forehead didn't ever used to even come close to my knees, and my teacher was like, "You're supposed to be on the top of your head." I'm like, "Okay, what are you talking about?" And then just try to straighten out your legs as much as you can. But the most thing, even wherever you're holding, you just want to kind of hold somewhere. You're trying to stretch out all your low back. So we always want to have a counterbalance for any back bends. We always want to do some forward folding. So just breathe. And then slowly coming back. So taking your hands down, look between your hands, see if you can try to jump through. Which took me forever to do. So I'm just here to challenge you. Like I always tell everybody, don't look at what I'm doing. I've been practicing for a long time. This is what I do for a living. Let me come to your work and see how I do. You know, like, so it's like, don't look at how I'm doing it. And so vote. For that reason, we vote. So, because our core is so important in all the things that we do in everything, but in yoga, it's the most important. And it keeps our spine working correctly. Breathe. So reach back and grab the back of your legs and just kind of pull your chest forward. And just notice if you can kind of feel your legs kind of pulling out a little bit. So it's like you're pressing those feet away and pulling your chest back, and breathe. And then slowly kind of lowering down for 3, for 2, and 1. Take your legs up 90-90. And then lower them down for 30. Lower them down for 30 more. Come on, no, we all did math. And then look at hover them 2 inches off the mat, look at your toes, lift your shoulders up. And then take them back to 90. I know, we all hate abs. We always want to skip them. Now it's like, I love abs. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite. Lower down for 30. Oh, it's getting even better. I love this so much. 30 more. Yeah, I got this. Hover for 2 inches. Oh, yes, look at that. Don't need a pedicure. And then slowly take your knees up to your face and start to walk your hands underneath your back. So just, even if your hands are back here, we're trying to change our body, right? Our body doesn't change overnight. It didn't get where it is overnight, right? So just trying to walk your hands down your back as much as you can. Maybe you just lean your legs forward. We all got to start somewhere. There you go. There you go. Perfect. You And then slowly take the legs back behind you. Maybe they touch your mat, maybe they don't. Slowly taking your knees to ear pressure pose.
No fear. There it is.
And then just use your hands as brakes and slowly lowering down vertebrae by vertebrae. And then just grab your knees and rock and roll 3 times. And then coming forward and just do a sloppy fold. And then, so I'm gonna show everybody headstand. I'll come around and help you. Any progress is progress. Like, we're all just trying to get through life, right? We're all just trying to do the best we can. It took me 10 years to do headstand because nobody ever showed me how to do it. The first time somebody showed me how to do it right, I did it.
You could do
But
it.
it took me 10 years because, so it's like it really only took me 1 time, but it actually took me 10 years. Because it was like it never got taught to me right. And so, and if we never try something, like if we never ask, the answer's always no. If we never try something, the answer's always you'll never do it. And so we always gotta try. It's better to try and fail than fail to try. So taking your hands and interlacing them in front of you. And so even just the action of it, one changes the neuroplasticity in our brain. It narrows negative neural pathways in our brain. So everything that we're doing in class has a purpose, right? And so when we're taking our hairline directly onto the mat, so see how my head is not going into my hands. My head is going on the mat and my hands are squeezing my head, and then I'm pressing down into my elbows. So make sure your elbows are not too far out. Yeah, and if any of my, if you want to go into headstand, you don't have to wait for us. You can go ahead and go. And then, so just make sure that your elbows are directly under your shoulders and you're kind of pressing down. And then you're just going to start to walk your feet forward in down dog legs. And so this might be where you are today. This is a lot, believe me. And your body's going to go through a lot in this just a little amount right here. But you'll just keep slowly start walking more forward, more forward, more forward, trying to get those hips up over your shoulders, and then trying to take one knee in. So I'd much rather you stayed here than trying to kick and trying to come up. So I'd much rather you just walk forward and just try to work there and finding that solid foundation first. Good. Pull one knee in. I'll shoot. Yes. And slowly take your legs up. Lean your hips a little bit more forward. Good job! Yes! See? And we're so proud of ourselves when we even just trying. So just, even if you want to just try to get into, so start preparing for it and just getting in here and trying to do stuff like this. So you'd be amazed at how quickly your body will overcome and do things. And so that's why I always teach headstand, because people are so proud when they do it. And it's a lot easier than it looks. You're right here on your hairline in front of your hands. It's probably because you don't stand on your head right now. No, I'm not. No. But when you come up your, yes! Look at you! He's been here for about 3.5 weeks. I'm so proud. That's freaking amazing. Yes! That was your first headstand. I was like, just killing it by yourself. Like, you were already up a minute ago. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, Shay, I'm so proud of you. Did you see that? I know. Yes! So it's like, don't ever give up on yourself, and I don't ever give up on my students. So it's like, I'm not gonna let you give up on you. So you should never give. You should be the first one that doesn't give up on you. So we're always trying. Always. You wanna try again? You wanna try? No. And so try not to be on the top of your head though. So put your hairline right in front of your pinkies. Yep, and then you're squeezing your head. So make sure you have your hands interlocked because then that's kind of like a helper. And you're pressing down into your hands and your elbows. And then start walking your legs up, trying to get your butt up over your shoulders. Keep walking forward. Keep walking forward.
You are too, you just can't see it, because I feel like,
Yep.
you know what I feel?
Perfect. Make sure you're
Way
pressing
back.
down
See,
those
you are
elbows.
too.
Even though it's called a headstand, we're barely on our head.
Just try to
Keep taking your hips forward and take your legs
My
back.
first regular yoga class.
So legs keep going back.
Forever. So.
I still want her neck.
That's why
A little bit more further back.
Squeeze your elbows, you don't put any
Pressure on your head.
Squeeze your
Good
head.
job, take your hands!
Okay.
Good job, good job. Good job, good job.
Now she's gonna be at home, guys.
So, like one thing I didn't ever do when I was practicing yoga is I never practiced at home. And that is like the worst thing you can do. So when you're here, like we're practicing and we're just doing stuff as a group, but try to practice at home too. And work on the things that you need to do that. Because it's so quick how quickly you can go into headstand no matter what. Like no matter what your limitations are. I've seen every walk of life go into headstand. So, and it's just such an empowering thing, you know? And so it's like when you can overcome you and get over that and get over that fear, you're just like, it's a high that you can't buy. You know, I've always told my students, get high on your own supply. Like we literally can. So where do you think all the drugs come from? They synthetically get them from us.
You?
We make them. And from me, I had the ball. You know what I mean? So-
I've tried this at home many, many times, and I don't, like you said, I don't think anybody's ever taught me the right to do it.
Yeah.
So I could never.
And that's the issue. So, because usually teachers will say, if it's in your practice, go in headstand. Well, wow, what is your job? Your job is to teach me, right? Yeah, exactly.
It's
And
never
every
in my
studio-
practice.
Exactly. It's not in my practice unless you show me how to put it in my practice.
Yeah, I think every
And-
other class I've ever been to, they said, and if you can get in handstand, get in handstand.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, why don't you do something and teach it, right? That's what we're paying you for. Like, teach the thing. And so that's the biggest problem I see. And then I see people take their mat straight to the wall. And that is the only time that you can really get injured in headstand is when you go to the wall and then your legs go back and then you're cricked on your neck. So when you go into headstand, you know, your head is touching the mat right here, and I'm just squeezing my head with my hands with my head. And you're out, you know, most people all see this, and that's a great way to get your shoulders injured. So I always want to make sure you're safe first. And then we're pressing into our 3 points of pressure. So we're press, press, press. And then when I'm squeezing here, you start walking your feet forward. And so most of the time, this is what I see. You know, and people are just trying to see if they
Trying
can
to get up there.
stick it. Wah! You know, and so it's like, no. And then so when you come here, and so I'm pressing, you see how my head is lifting up? Because there should really, even though it's called a headstand, it's not really. It's more like a tripod, but with your hands and your elbows. Our head just has about 10 pounds of pressure maybe on it, and then we want to try to get our hips forward. And so this is where I want most of my students to start working. You know, if you can start walking your legs up, this part is hard. This part is really hard. So you just want to start here, you know, and then getting there. And then once you can get there, then you want to pull the knees in, woo. And then this right here is way harder than the legs going up. And then, but most people want to pull their legs forward and kill their core by the time their legs come up, because they're too scared to go back. And so what I'm trying to get people to understand is when you take those legs back and stack, it's like, oh, you're super, like, just relaxed here. It's like everything is stacked, it's like everything lets go, and it's actually a huge relief on your spine, everything. You can see how I can turn my head, I'm barely on my head. All right, and so just slowly, actually let's go ahead and take, let's do a pigeon today. So slowly just take that right leg forward. Poor Shaq, he's been coming every day. He's dedicated, and so he's been pigeoning and frogging, and of course your frog looked pretty awesome last night. And so teachers always tell you, try to get that leg up there. Good luck with that. So I'm super flexible and I can't do it. So, but you want to make sure that foot is flexed. And so what I just have people do is just try to walk the leg back instead of trying to get that leg to come up. So I just try to walk that leg back and just until you're comfortable. And then just slowly lift up for a second. Inhale. And then exhale, hinging forward. And just trying to stay as relaxed as you can in this. Because this is another pose. Anytime we put our body in a vulnerable pose, it tries to clench up.
Yep.
It does not like when we're trying to fix it. It's like almost like our body is becoming addicted to the stressor hormone, which it is, definitely. And so we're just trying to breathe. Like this pose, for most people, is like a self-battle, right? We're going through all the thoughts in our mind and trying to get ourselves to come out of this pose. We're trying to give ourselves any excuse. Well, this is hurting my knee. Well, you know what, I'll do it next time. This is not for me. This is what our brain does. And that is what we are quieting in yoga. Is our brain telling us we can't do something. And then we learn to get past the pain. And that carries over into everything that we do in life. It's like everybody thinks when people get into certain poses, well, that's easy for them, but not for me. Or I'll do this later, or tomorrow I will. Next week I'll change. I'll be happy when. Hell no. We get one life that we remember, so take control of your life. No one else is going to do it for you. That sucks, right? Amen. And then very, very slowly, just kind of working your way back up. And then just taking that other leg and seeing if you can kind of take it across, and then just taking a little twist. So good for you to twist. Anytime you get an opportunity to twist, if you're just in the middle of the day, just start twisting it out. It's super good for your organs. It's so good for your digestive system, your spine, everything. So inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. I know it's a lot harder than it looks. And then take that left leg forward. And then again, so wherever it is, don't try to pull it up there, but just walk that other leg back. And everybody, I was so proud of you guys, like everybody's hips were squared. Because most people are kind of laying over to the side, you know, and it's like, so you want your hips kind of directly up and over. And so everybody was just like on point. Awesome. Do what?
One always hurts more than the other.
Yes, of course, of course. And so, yeah. And so this is the perfect opportunity to try to make your breath as audible as you can. And a lot of times this does help. And, you know, a lot of people tell me this really hurts my knee. I think it's going to affect my knee. It hurts your knee usually because of your hips. And that's what we're trying to let go of. Your tight hips hurt your back, your shoulders, your knees, your ankles, your everything. So we are all connected. Everything is part of something. We have radiating pain that we don't understand. That's why we try to balance and let go of everything as much as we can. So try to inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 8, 7, 6. Keep going. Just kind of press that air out. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Our body's very intelligent, but we can trick it, right? So take your mind somewhere else. If we focus on the pain, that is where it will grow, I promise you. So breathe, just focus on that growth. Focus on you running through a field of flowers. Your hips are so open that you're just like, and then very, very slowly coming back up and just wrapping that top leg around, taking a twist real quick. So right leg is going to come up over knee and then twist, taking your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. And then twist. And then inhale and exhale, twist, taking your gaze over your right shoulder this time. Yeah, and we all have differences in our body. That's why it's so awesome to watch yoga, because some things where people are super awesome at, some people can't even do to save their life. And so that's why we can never, and then slowly release, compare our strengths to other people's weaknesses, but we do it all the time, right? Why the hell do we do that? Like, oh my gosh, well, she's so much better than me. Right? But you're a badass at how many other things? Like, so start focusing on what you're awesome at. And lay your butt down. And just tell your mat and this ground that you're so thankful for it. And you'll never take it for granted again. It's the little things, you know, just like relaxing. And just allow your body to be so heavy that it just melts into the ground. If a thought comes to you, recognize it as important or not, and then swipe it away. Give your mind and your body this time to absorb your practice. Shavasana. As long as we structure our lives in a way where our happiness is dependent upon something we can't control, then we will experience pain. Often stepping out of our comfort zone has more to do with the simplicity of forgiveness and self-honesty than it does with the grandiose of breaking out of some box. There's a Zen story about a monk who told his teacher that the breathing meditation that was prescribed for him was boring. "Don't you have an interesting meditation?" he asked the teacher. The master grabbed the student and pushed him into a lake and held him underwater. The student kicked and struggled for air and then tried to get up for a long time. Finally, after a minute or two, the teacher let him up. "How was it?" the master said. "Terrible," said the student. "I couldn't breathe." The Zen master replied, "Yes, but your breath became very interesting to you." At some level, we all have this conflict within us, and it scares us. We're afraid to let go, to face the groundlessness and uncertainty. Way down deep, we feel that if people saw the unmasked us, the naked, the authentic us, they would recoil in horror. We are terrified of ourselves, so we maintain the illusion, patch up the leaks, and hide. We have become so very sophisticated at presenting our masks that we almost fool ourselves, but not quite. Many of us sense that if something is wrong and that deep change is needed, a brave unveiling of who we are at our core, but we doubt ourselves and our worth. So we hide. At some level, we cling to what we already know and accept as reality. We veer away from taking the journey inward, therefore out of our comfort zone, not realizing the way out is in. Slowly starting to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Starting to wake your bodies back up again. Twisting in your wrists and your ankles. And then reaching up over your head and kicking into your heels. And then just pulling your knees into your chest, maybe grabbing a happy baby or a dead bug, never a dead baby. Don't make that mistake in class. Just kind of give yourself an opportunity to breathe and open up. This is actually such a good pose for you to breathe in. It actually raises your heart rate variability. It helps with endorphins, all the amazing things that we can make ourselves. We have our own pharmacy. And when we let go of our own judgments, we can start to heal in the quickest way possible. And it will happen quicker than you guys realize. And then just real slowly coming to a fetal position on your right side and a pose of gratitude. So this is how we started life, right? Just in this ball of love and life. And we need to come back here sometimes to remember how much we need to be thankful for. And just change the way that we think about things. Change all the stories from the past. They're not even your stories anymore. They're gone. Let them go. Your past does not have to come on with you forever. And then slowly come up to a seated position with your eyes closed and your towel on the back of your neck. And starting this 40-day challenge, we will start with 5 minutes of meditation. And so everybody always says they don't have time to meditate. You don't have 5 minutes for yourself? How much time were you on Facebook? How much time were you on Instagram? You have 5 minutes. So take this time to stack your vertebrae. Take this time to feel your body. But this is complete stillness for today. I want you to try to see how many times your body wants to bolt. It's always better when you do it after Shavasana because you have less going on, your body's way more relaxed. But notice when you want to scratch an itch or adjust because, oh, I didn't sit correctly right, now it's starting to hurt my butt cheek or my ankle. Get over those stories. Try to make yourself sit for 5 minutes without moving, without adjusting, without changing, with just being present. And it's always better when you can kind of focus on your breath at the beginning, give something for our monkey mind to do. And always start doing a little bit of visualization, imagining a white, burning, beautiful bright light in front of you. And it's just so beautiful, just full of crystals and burning, beautiful globe of light. And just think of that light as your awareness. And so when you're putting your awareness into things, you're going to get more out of them. So try to be present when you're talking to your friends. Put that white light over their head, and if that white light starts to go away, bring it back. And when you're being present with yourself, put that white light in front of you. And when you inhale, try to inhale that whole light into you. So you're inhaling, pulling all that crystal energy into your body, in through all your pores, in through your 200,000 miles of blood vessels in your body. Yes, that's what I said. And then you're exhaling that black, anything that doesn't serve you or deserve you out of your body as you exhale. You're inhaling that beautiful white light in throughout every being and cell of your body. And as you exhale all that black and just bullshit stories, your past, everything is coming out. Get it out. Deep inhale that beautiful healing white light. Exhaling everything that doesn't serve you or deserve you. And just taking this few more minutes just to kind of notice what comes up for you. There's absolutely no wrong way to meditate.